Good day. This day that I'm making the recording on, we just received a big snowstorm. It's quite an eventful day, but bright, and the brightness shines into this room, so that's in its own way a gift. As always, wonderful to be with you. This week we have two great feasts. First of all, Feast of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of God. Mother of God. God is entering into this world, and who does he choose to receive him? And at the same time, submit to that person's decision to accept him or to refuse him. That's Mary. And of course, she accepts him. She represents all of humanity receiving Jesus, the divinity, into humanity. And she cares for him, the little tiny baby. How wondrous is God's devotion to us to come to our midst and to choose to grace himself, to grace Mary, with the goodness to receive him with wondrous human love. Mary is moved by God's love to be loving toward Jesus, toward him, toward the Son of God, come into humanity. Interesting, it's a woman, not a man, who receives Jesus into this world. And I think that's a reflection, too, on Ephesians, Paul's letter to the Ephesians, where the church is likened to the bride, which represents all of us. We, the people of God, the church, are the bride of Christ, male or female. We are the bride of Christ. And we are wedded to Jesus, who is wedded to us, who is our spouse, our husband, the one who, to the church, joins himself in a loving relationship. What Mary did, we should do. She said yes to the Lord's will. The Lord's will was to recognize and to accept Christ into humanity, into her own life. That's what we should do. Receive and accept Christ into our lives. Secondly, to nurture his growth within us. Holiness is a process, an ongoing process. That's why we're given all these years in this world. We're given these years in this world to mature in holiness, to grow in God's goodness, to become more and more what God wants us to be. In this particular case, the analogy would be to nurture the Lord's growth in our lives so that he becomes the Lord of our lives, so that we become a people individually and as a group, as a church, always willing to submit, to be obedient to his will. Secondly, we have the Feast of the Epiphany, the manifestation of God in the world. It's fascinating that manifestation were to the people who could read the stars, and all of a sudden the brightest star was shining there. And they recognized that it was a sign that something very important had happened. They read it as a sign of God coming into this world, a king being sent into this world as the spiritual king of humanity. They were open to the light of the Lord. Versus Herod, who lived in the darkness and could only see the darkness, could never recognize or open himself to the light. Such was the life he was leading, that it blinded him to the light. Opening ourselves to the Lord coming into our lives Having the kind of faith that's willing to recognize and discern His presence, to discern His will, in whatever way He wishes to manifest Himself. That's what this Feast of the Epiphany should mean to us. Dear Lord, help us. Give us the grace to find Your light in our lives, to recognize Your presence, to find and recognize Your will and accomplish it. Thank you very much. May this continue to be a wondrous Christmas season of the special presence of the Lord in your lives.